This is an Alpha Awareness tape prepared by Viral Minto and distributed by Alpha Awareness Tape Distribution Center, Post Office Box 8238, Spokane, Washington 99203. This is a special tape and a special topic by request from many, many people. It's the white light technique. We will explain the white light technique, how it's used, and how you're using it every day of your life on the first half of the tape. And on the second side of the tape, we will do a full meditation and then do a white light meditation of where you can feel the light for yourself and send it out to any individual that you would like to send it to. So let's explore now what white light is, how to use it, how perhaps we're using it every day of our life right now. I believe this is one of the greatest tools I've come across in the last 6 years of exploring in this area and teaching in this area. The powerful, powerful white light. Now, within my own thinking, I consider it a tool. It's nothing more than what some people call a prayer. It's nothing more than what Silent Unity is doing. If you're familiar with them, at least this is my opinion. It does not need to be shared by others, but it's my opinion. They're simply sending out the light. And we have the ability, not sure how, but we have the ability to pick up this energy flow, these good thoughts, these wishes, and use them for ourselves if we want to. Now, the white light, as we send it out, works so well for me, I believe, because it makes it a personal thing. There's not a moment that my house is not surrounded with white light of peace, prosperity, abundance, mental, physical, and spiritual perfection. No harm can enter in. And I don't see it, I just think it there. But it sort of makes a direct beam, and the communication goes directly to the house. And later in the tape we'll speak how you can use this for communication. And it is very, very, very powerful. Let me tell you of some of the experiences that we've had in the last couple of years, from simple ones to ones that we don't understand, and they happened. I'm not sure we could ever prove that they happened from white light. But number one, I was teaching a meditation breakfast one time in Los Angeles, California. It was very early in the morning. There was about 75 to 100 people there. And as we taught this breakfast, and we had some prayer, and we talked about white light and how to use it. We're sending out the light, and the phone rang. A man was called to go to the phone. As he came back, he was ashen gray, and he said to the people, "Viral, could I request that you pray and send that white light to my son? He's been in a motorcycle truck accident, and he was on the motorcycle in Arizona. I must leave now to go be with him. They don't expect him to live." 100 people, approximately, in that breakfast sat down and simply sent the white light to this young individual, and not demanding that he get well, not demanding anything. You don't have that right, but offering that peace, that prosperity, that abundance, the mental, physical, and spiritual healing, divine right action. That afternoon we had another class that we were teaching, and again another 150 people did the same thing for approximately 3 minutes. That evening we had another class of 150, and they too repeated this. We heard nothing that night, but during the next day, afternoon, when we were teaching a class, the phone rang, and the gentleman was on it who had left to be with his son. He said, "Viral, I can't explain it, no one else can explain it, but a miracle has happened. My son is sitting up in the hotel, in the hospital room, watching TV with me, and I had to call and tell you." At first I tried to figure out how this can happen. How? And then when I got into the house, sometimes I began to doubt that even we had anything to do with it. I prefer at this moment to send that white light out, not being concerned how it works or why it works. If it works, just use it. Use it as a tool. And it seems to be a good tool, and we're used to tools in this physical dimension, Earth. If we need a hammer to drive a nail, we need a wrench to turn a nut. And so this becomes a tool. I am totally aware that it's the inner peace, it's the white light, it's the God within each one of us that's causing this to happen. And as I use the word God, don't let your concept of God or my concept of my God turn you off, because it'll work for anyone, even if you have a concept of God as a rock in a parking lot. And I'm not being facetious, because God is all, and it simply will work. It's this powerful. I could take 3 of you, and you might want to try this. Take 2 or 3 of your neighbors, people interested in this area. Go out on the street. Place yourselves about 50 yards apart and start walking down the street. And as you walk along, pick somebody coming toward you that looks like maybe they need a little help, a little uplifting, and send them a white light. Just in your imagination, surround yourself with that white light and send it out to them of the peace and the prosperity, the abundance, the mental, physical, and spiritual perfection. No harm can enter in. Be happy. This is a good world. Hold that in your imagination on them as you walk toward, and you will probably see them nod, a total stranger. As you walk on by, let the next person hold that, and you continue to hold that thought on the person, and by the time they pass the 3rd person, they will be smiling. It is that powerful as we begin to look at it and use it in the white light realm. Now, what is white light? Again, it's only a tool. It's a prayer. Call it what you want. Your white light will contain exactly what you're thinking of as you send it to a place, person, or thing. You see, my white light contains peace, prosperity, abundance, mental, physical, and spiritual perfection. No harm can enter in. I have said that so many times consciously that is the pattern, the habit pattern established upon my brain. So when I just look at a person and think of white light, just see it, and I don't see it, I just think it around them, then that is automatically what I'm offering. Now, understand totally, they do not need to take it. And thank goodness they don't have to, because no one in the world can force us to do anything we do not desire to. But if you're sending all love, peace, and kindness, chances are they will pick up that energy. They will pick up that vibration and begin to use it. So you simply think of your white light in the tool fashion of the same words over and over and over until you establish that pattern. Once that pattern is established, that will be your basic white light without thinking each time what the light contains. And then you can add anything else to it you want. You can add health, you can add happiness, you can add alertness, whatever you want. It's not new. You've used it all your life. Open our awareness to this. The day that you're walking down the street happy and whistling and a smile on your face, what kind of a light have you got around you? And how do people react to you that day? You get more nods, you get more hellos, you get more feelings from the other people. So it's just the mood you're in and what you're thinking. Then you direct it to another person. And you might try this. Go into a grocery store, and as you're walking down the aisle, just put the white light around a person in front of you with all of those good things in it. Hold it there in imagination and shop for a little bit walking around the aisles behind, and 9 times out of 10, they will come back and say, "Hi, isn't this a nice day today?" They will notice. They will speak where otherwise you were in no communication with this person at all. Now, anytime you send a white light, remember something right now. Circle with me. Hear the simplicity. We know that anything we think, say, or do, we keep the original and only give the carbon copy away. We only reach out with a carbon copy. For instance, when I think something, it's inscribed upon my brain before I speak it or before I deliver it to you. So give and you shall receive. That's backwards. Maybe we ought to say receive and then you have the right to give it away. You keep the original of that thought, so be selfish. Send lots of white light. If you're sending peace and prosperity out to everybody you see walking down the street, what in turn is going to happen to you? What line of light are you putting within your own brain-mind functioning? Now, there's many, many techniques we can use this, and we will tell you of how we have seen it used many times. You can use it for a sleep technique. It's a fantastic sleep technique. As you're going to sleep at night, everybody who comes to your mind, surround them with that beautiful white light of peace and prosperity, abundance, mental, physical, and spiritual perfection. No harm can enter in. Hey, it's a good world. Release and let go. And you know, each time you send that light, you're sending it to yourself first. And if you think of 100 people, or even 50 people, or even 25 people that you send this light out to before you go to sleep, you will have the most delicious, relaxing sleep you've ever had in your life. Give and you surely will receive. It will feel like you're floating 3 to 5 feet above the bed. in a very relaxed and beautiful, beautiful state of consciousness. Recognize this. It's this powerful. It's this powerful. It'll go instantaneously to anybody, any place in this whole world, and perhaps out of this world. We won't get into that discussion now. And it's there the moment you think it. It's there just the moment you think it. And this powerful, a young man who tried every technique when I was teaching a class in Las Vegas one time, every physical technique I gave him, he came back with ahas the next night. Yeah, Verl, it works. Yes, it happens. Aha, it worked for me. He was a bagger in the Safeway store. And he said as he came out across the parking lot, he remembered what I'd said the night before about sending the white light to just anybody on the parking lot. And then if you didn't see them react when they passed you, stop and turn back, and usually that person's looking at you. Didn't know what was happening, but liked what they felt. So he said, I saw a little lady coming across the parking lot, and she looked very down in the mouth and even downtrodden, and the world looked like maybe it was coming to an end for her. So he said, I gave her the white light whammy. And I even like that term, the white light whammy. I said, well, what'd you wham her with? Oh, he said, I just give her peace, prosperity, abundance, mental, physical, and spiritual perfection. Smile, lady. This is a good world. He said, she passed me. I didn't see any reaction from her at all. So he said, I did what you said. I stopped and turned around and said, Verl, she was standing there looking at me. He said, I felt like I wanted to get up and run. But he said, it was like my foot was nailed to the ground. She stepped over, put her hand on my shoulder, and said, thank you, young man. He said, I said, Holly, what for? She said, I don't know what for, but thank you, bless you, and turned and walked into the store. So there's that kind of communication. This was like the lady in Vancouver when we were teaching there was coming to class, and she was out on the street between a time when it was a long time till the bus was coming, and she wondered whether she ought to call a taxi from the corner phone or what should she do. And all of a sudden, she saw a bus come over the hill on the hills in Vancouver, quite a ways up, several blocks up. So she sent him a beautiful white light, not asking for a ride, not even thinking about a ride. She was just practicing the white light technique. So she sent him peace, prosperity, abundance, have a good day, have a good tomorrow. And she said the bus came right down, pulled over, stopped, and opened the door and said, where are you going, lady? And she said, well, I'm going down on Oak Street to the church. He said, well, hop in and have a ride. I'm on the way to the barn, but have a free ride on me, and took her right in front of the church. Now let's see the logic in that. Let's understand the logic just a little bit. You see, how many people had this bus driver going to the barns driven by and not even seen? She made that mental contact with the beautiful white light. He saw her, and all of a sudden had the idea to give her a ride to church, and she wasn't even asking for it. So there's this kind of a communication. I use it continuously. When I wish the wife to call me, I send a beam of white light to surround the house and all those good things, and then I simply think of me calling her on the telephone, and very quickly, if she knows where I'm at or a telephone she can reach me at, she'll be calling me. You can use this white light, as many students have done, driving down the highway. In fact, they claim they will not drive anywhere unless they surround their car with a white light of protection. No harm can enter in. Now be careful how you use the light, otherwise don't surround it so you won't have a flat tire or run into the telephone pole, because there's many other things that could happen. And look at the logic. When you take time to surround your car with a white light so no harm can enter in, you've taken time to think about driving that day, and perhaps you'll drive much more careful. You've programmed in an awareness that day. Then you send the white light down the highway ahead of you. As one student said in the class, I send it down the road 1.5 miles ahead of me, and I know any time there's going to be a problem down there, and I can handle it. The awareness of the problem, forewarned, makes me forearmed, and I can handle it. When you're driving down the highway, wrap your car in that no harm can enter in, and then peace and prosperity, abundance. Hey, isn't it a great world? And spread that light out on both sides of you so the people have to drive through it. And as they drive through it, you will see a reaction. In fact, in the motorhome, we drive some 30 to 40, maybe 50,000 miles in a year's time, and on many highways. And we driving down the highway, we'll think of putting the white light on. And as we put this white light on the vehicle and spread it out so everybody has to drive through it, we then immediately see the people begin to wave, begin to say hi. The kids in the back of the windows begin to give us a V sign. So the white light, just scattered out, will make that communication with the fellow human being. I've seen my children, I swear, mix up the highway or the traffic on a 3-lane highway 500 yards ahead. One time driving down the freeway below San Francisco, I saw a car move over this way, and I saw a car move over this way, and went over this way, and I turned around and looked at my children. There were big grins there. And I said, "What are you doing?" They said, "Oh, Dad, we're just moving the cars over with lots of love." I said, "I don't think that's fair." They said, "Well, Dad, we're just loving them," and I couldn't really argue with them. This is a day that we learned another technique. You see, if you're driving down the highway, how many of you driving down the highway behind a car just cuss and swear and know he's not going to move over? What's your prayer? What do you ask him to do? Stay right in front. Send a beautiful white light of peace, prosperity, abundance, mental, physical, and spiritual perfection to him and say, "Move over. I'm in a hurry." And you'll see the person begin to move and immediately make way for you. So it'll even work there. How about reports from students? And I've seen this demonstrated myself, done it myself, where you have to get onto a busy freeway. Simply send ahead of you a white light opening a hole for you. Now be totally aware as you drive out there, but just see it, and it's absolutely magnificent how many times this will happen for you. In fact, there's a lady called Marge Cass in Dallas, Texas, and all of you ought to meet Marge Cass. A very special person. She's a person I walked into the hospital with one morning and to visit a patient, and as we were walking through the door, the rain was coming down outside, and the little lady said, "Oh, isn't that rain nasty?" And Marge, without even breaking a step, said, "No, the rain is wet. The nasty's in your head." Meet Marge someday. You'll enjoy her totally with the love seminars she teaches. But anyway, driving with Marge, and she drives a Terry Myler, and on the highways around Dallas, or the freeways around Dallas, whoopee, that's a driving experience. Marge just puts the white light up there and drives right out on the highway, and I swear she doesn't even look. I said, "Marge, look." She said, "It works every time," and she laughed. She said, "It's beautiful, isn't it?" Thank you, thank you, thank you. So send it out this way and use it in these tools, and you won't know whether it's working for you or not until you try some of these techniques. Don't be concerned about trying them, and if they failed once, try them again. Send the light out. It's a tremendous human communication. It's nothing new. It's what you're doing every day of your life. In fact, you can even have a negative light around you the day you go out, all sad and dejected. What kind of a light have you got around you? Or maybe the lack of light, and who are you going to look for? You're going to look for all the sad people that day. In fact, if you came into a room where everybody had a beautiful white light of happiness around them, you'd look and think, what's wrong with all of these people? So when we surround ourselves, and that's the first thing we should do every morning, is surround ourselves with the white light of what we want that day. Mental, physical, spiritual perfection, peace, happiness, whatever we want. Walk down the street with that, and people will react to you as to the light that you're walking in. Now here's another thing we should be aware of. You do not need to have the person in your vision. There's not a moment that my wife and the children, as I said earlier, is not wrapped in the white light in the home. It's there, and each time I think of them, I re-impress it upon the house. We had a funny instance happen up at Spokane, Washington. There's about 8 people coming down from Priest Lake area and attending the class. And we were teaching a class that day in the old Davenport Hotel, which overlapped lunch hour, so we stopped the class in the middle and had a 45-minute lunch break. And just hearing about this white light technique, 8 people went down to lunch wanting to use the technique. So they came back up later and they said, "Verl, boy, we don't know about that white light. Your light is powerful, but you better tell us some more." And I said, "Why? What happened?" Well, he said, "We started down the elevator, and we gave the elevator boy the white light, but we weren't with him long enough to see any great reaction, so we went on down, and so we passed the cigarette counter and the newsstand. We gave that girl the white light. Then we walked in and sat down in a booth, and as we sat down in the booth, we saw the person we wanted to give the white light to. And it was a waitress. She looked very fatigued and very, very tired. Cancel the tired and make it alert. So we just all held the white light on her, and as a result, she got extremely nervous, Verl. She dropped a pitcher of coffee, then she upset the pitcher of water on our table. I had a hot beef sandwich, and she put her finger through the potatoes and gravy as she set it down. 2 or 3 other things happened, and in frustration, she went into the kitchen and never came out again. "Verl, what happened?" Well, I said, "I don't know. how did you put the white light? Well, they said the moment that we saw her, we all just kept her right on. We just watched her every move she made and kept that light on her. Well, of course. If 8 total strangers you've never really seen before come in and turn their heads totally like hoot owls, clear around to watch every move you make, you probably thought you didn't put your clothes on that morning. So I went down after class and I said to the young lady, who was about, by the way, 62, and a good waitress, I said, I understand some of my students were down here. She said, what do you teach upstairs? And I told her about the white light technique. She said, you just tell all of those people I'll light my own lamp from now on. Anyway, we talked about it. She went through the class later, and we had many good laughs over this. So you don't have to have the person in visual contact. Fine, if they're there, use it, but do not call attention. Just send it out, and remember, it'll go at any distance, and it's there the moment you send it. And the people do not have to take it. Don't be disappointed if some people don't take it. I have a friend of mine, a relative in California, who I send the white light each day of health. This person gets their applause in life. It's their trip to be sick. She calls up 15 to 20 people every morning telling them how sick she is. Cancel that sick and make it health. And you see, she doesn't want that light, but that doesn't concern me because I'm a little selfish. Every time I send out the white light of health, what am I putting on my own brain-mind functioning? I'm receiving that, so it just takes a moment. It takes no effort. It's this simple. You see, many of you have thought of people with white light around them since we started this lecture, correct? And that's exactly what you did, is send them the light. Think of the President Ford right now and the peace, prosperity, and abundance. You just put the white light around President Ford. Wrap the world in a foot of white light, all good. And do you know that every one of you listening to this tape at that moment just wrapped the world in a foot of good white light? It's that simple. As the young man said in Las Vegas, I just give him a quick whammy. Once you have decided what your white light contains, and you've done it 21 times or more with repetition, then just seeing the light on the person will cause that light to go out, then you add to it whatever you want to add. Now remember, you can only give away what you actually are, so if you're very uptight someday, I wouldn't start sending the light out to everybody because you can send the uptightness. It was in Bellingham, Washington that a man said to me, Verl, I don't know about that light. It really works, but everybody I put it on today just seemed to speed up. And he said a man was standing across the street talking to somebody, and I gave him the white light, and he just quit talking right then and went off down the street at a rapid pace. I said, what kind of a day did you have? Oh, he said it was the fastest, the most rushed day I ever had in my life. So we'll have the tendency to send out what we are unless we consciously think it to be different. So remember, you don't need the person in vision to use the light. We've got many reports of even safety. There was the report of the house that was out on the Kansas plains about, 2 miles or a mile and a half back from the railroad track, and this was a number of years ago. It's not a new technique. And there was 2 ladies living in it, and they'd always had somewhat of fear of the hobos or the people who rode on the trains because there was a water stop there, getting off and coming over to the house. And this evening in the moonlight, they looked out the window. They just had a feeling to look out, and as they looked out, sure enough, here was somebody walking toward the house in the moonlight. They put a white light of safety and protection around the house, out 500 yards, and it was reported that the moment the person touched this, he turned around and fled the other direction. Use it for communication. One of the most beautiful cases, factual, that I saw happen with this was in Tacoma. We were doing the white light exercise in a class one night, as we will do on the second side of this tape, and the next night a young lady came up to me and said, Verl, don't use my name, but let me tell you what happened. She said, this is almost beyond belief. She said, I put the white light around our daughter who had run away from home 7.5 years before. We didn't even know she was alive. We spent good sums of money trying to find out if she was even alive. So I just sent the white light out in communication and said, please call. You don't even need to tell me where you are, but let me know if you're safe, if you're alive. She went home, got home at about 1 o'clock. At 2 o'clock, the phone rang, and who was on it? It was her daughter. And said, Mother, I'm calling you to tell you I'm alive. Now, don't try to find me. You weren't the type of mother that I desire, and I'm not ready to come home, but I just want to tell you I'm alive. And she said, we talked for 2 hours. And she said, Verl, the whole class, the whole world is better because I used the white light in that exercise last night. So you can use it for this kind of communication. There's another communication experience that we saw happen. A couple left from one of the Midwest states and went up into Canada for a vacation. And they stayed with friends up there. And in home base at Kansas, they knew they were going to stay at a certain location. But they stayed there 2-3 nights and then decided in their camping rig to go on out for 8 or 10 days just in the wilderness of Canada. And they had no plans of where they were going to go. So their son got in an accident on a motorcycle, and they needed communication, so they immediately called the last place they knew they would be, the friends, and they said, well, they've left here 2 days ago. But you see, without even thinking about it, what were all the people doing? They were putting out a white light of communication for those people to call or contact back. And so during dinner at one of the out-of-way places, the wife all of a sudden said to her husband, I think you've got to call those people we stayed with. And he said, well, why? She said, I don't know. I've just got a hunch, but I feel an overwhelming urge that you should call them. And he said, well, there's no reason. That's sort of silly. But during the mid part of the meal, he got up and left. And he came back, and he said, I just called those people. Come on, we must go right now. Our son's been in an accident, and we must head back for home. The communication was made actually by links from the people they were last with and the white light being sent out and that communication coming back. We have had many reports of lost people being found this way, where the people go out and just send a beam of white light that this is the way out of the woods. And perhaps we're doing that subconsciously. We always see the report, the fellow finally found his way out. When enough people are saying from one location, the search headquarters, this is the way to come, perhaps the people come out. Maybe that explains why a dog who was lost by his master spent 6 months and 2,000 miles and came home. That communication is there. Now remember, you're offering the white light. The other person does not need to take it. But once you've offered it, then you must take time to check to see if the other person is receiving it. Now don't call somebody up that you sent white light to the night before and say, hey, did you get my white light whammy? Because if they're not studying in this area and not used to this area, perhaps you may lose a friend. Call them up and say, what were you doing at 9 o'clock last night? How did you feel? And we've had many reports right at the time that the bowling game improved. One man driving home said at 9 o'clock, I was debating on pulling off the road and going to sleep because I just couldn't go any further. And then all of a sudden I had total alertness and drove home, no problem. Driving over the Northwest Mountains with my daughter one night, Tammy, a car came around us and almost missed the curve. And I, being the adult and human, began to think, well, they're drunk, and I should call the highway patrol. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. My daughter put her hands around my neck and said, Daddy, give them the white light, peace, prosperity, and abundance, and a white light to have them, suggest to them that they pull off the road and take a snooze. They're sleepy. They're going to miss the road. And that was the truth. Become as a little child. She picked up the feeling. 3 turns later, here were the people pulling over to the side of the road, getting comfortable to take a nap. Perhaps that evening the white light saved another human being because of that kind of communication. We've seen the light. In fact, I believe totally it's happening all over the world now. Maybe not consciously, but unconsciously, or subconsciously at least. President Ford, twice in the last year, something should have happened to him, but it didn't. By all reasons. One gun didn't fire. There was funny reasons that it didn't happen. Perhaps he is in a bubble of white light, of protection. So people, as you use the white light each day, no matter what your feeling of that national figure is, no matter what your belief in politics, we don't need another situation like we've had in the past. Send the white light. In fact, it was just a few weeks ago on Life or Time magazine that it showed Ford painted in by some artist into a bubble of white light, or of blue light, a shield. And then I heard on the radio one reporter say, perhaps the only thing left to do now is pray. Light meditation. But let's give you just a few moments now to get comfortable and participate. And you should have a comfortable chair. You should sit down in this and be very, very relaxed. We will go through a complete meditation. Then we will do a white light meditation, at which time you will send the light out to anyone you wish. And you should be aware of the time that you send it, and then check with that person later to get the feedback that yes, the white light really is working for you. We will do treatment for health. We will send it and wrap the world and treat many people in general, and then we will pause long enough that you can allow yourself time to white light anything that comes to your mind. And remember, you keep the original of anything that you send in the white light, and your white light, you don't have to see it. It will be just exactly what you think it is as you send it out. And so now, if you'll sit down in a good, comfortable chair, lights a little bit low, and let us meditate together. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. And while exhaling, mentally repeat the word relax several times, and you will enter a deeper, healthier level of inner conscious awareness. Take another deep breath. And while exhaling, mentally repeat the word I am several times, and you will enter a deeper, healthier level of inner conscious mind with greater awareness. And now take another deep breath. And while exhaling, mentally repeat the word within several times, and you will be at that inner conscious level. Turn deep within now and focus your awareness upon yourself. Relax. I am within. You are now in the inner conscious level of mind with greater awareness. To enter a deeper, more expanded level of this awareness, let us relax the different areas down through our body. As we relax down through each different area, you will enter a deeper and more expanded level of inner conscious mind with greater awareness. With your creative intelligence, imagine relaxing your forehead, your eyelids, your lips, your tongue, your nose, the base of your tongue. Relax your forehead, relax your eyelids, the lips, the tongue, and allow this feeling of relaxation to spread slowly down through the neck, out into the shoulders, down into the elbows, and into the very fingertips. Take another deep breath. Exhale very slowly and relax your neck and shoulders. Allow this relaxation to spread slowly down through the chest, moving slowly on down through the abdominal area. As we continue relaxing down through the body, we enter a deeper and healthier level of inner conscious awareness. And now imagine that relaxation moving on down through the hips and the knees, the calves of the legs, the ankles, and the toes. It's a very pleasant feeling to be so deeply relaxed. To expand the inner awareness at this time, imagine yourself in a peaceful, relaxing setting, some ideal place of relaxation. This place may be real or imaginary. Just send your mind out, and when you next hear my voice, 2 hours of time will have elapsed at this level of mind. My voice will not startle you. You will take a deep breath and enter a deeper and healthier level of subjective awareness. Total rest and relaxation and peace will result. So until you next hear my voice, take a deep breath now. Exhale slowly. Let your mind go to an ideal place to relax. Relax. Take a deep breath and enter a deeper and healthier level of inner conscious awareness. Positive, constructive, creative thoughts are products of this inner conscious level. You may accept or reject anything you think, any thoughts, any ideas, any feelings, any emotions, anything you perceive at any time, at any level of the mind. You are always in control of your own brain-mind functioning. You will always be mentally and physically comfortable. Positive phrases we will use for better living. Every day I'm developing my mind with greater control. Every day in every way I'm getting better and better, healthier and healthier, happier and happier. Every day I will keep my thoughts positive, for I am the results of what I think. I will always act or react in a positive manner. I am learning to become aware of my inner self. The truth of my being is perfection. I will always maintain a perfectly healthy body and mind, free of organic or psychosomatic disorders and diseases. I will always imagine myself having a healthy body and mind. I am developing my senses and my awareness for greater success and understanding. I'm learning to hear, to see, to touch, taste, and smell at this subjective level. I'm learning to be aware of extrasensory thoughts, ideas, or feelings. I'm learning to project my awareness to any time or any place in this universe. I'm learning to function with total awareness at the subjective level of mind. Take a deep breath. Exhale slowly now and begin to feel the white light circling completely around you, filling the entire room of peace, prosperity, abundance, mental, physical, and spiritual perfection. No harm can enter in. And mentally to yourself repeat the phrase, peace I am. Peace I am. Relaxed I am. Relaxed I am. Released I am. Released I am. Peace, be still. And begin to feel that inner white light, that inner consciousness, the very soul of the being, and all is okay. And now just imagine a large white ball above your head moving very slowly down. And this is the ball of white light, which is perfection and divine right action for you. Feel it move slowly down over your forehead, and as it does, feel the forehead relax. The eyelids, be aware of a mental or physical sensation as it moves slowly down over the ears and the nose. Down over the chin. Take a deep breath, exhale slowly, and feel it move on down, covering the neck and the shoulders, the chest. As it continues to move slowly on down, feel each part of your body become whole and in perfection. Moving slowly on down now over the hips, slowly on down over the knees, the calves of the legs, the ankles, and the toe. Until now we're sitting in that ball of perfection, of divine right guidance. And once more we feel peace I am. Peace I am. Love I am. Love I am. Health I am. Health I am. Take a deep breath now and exhale very, very slowly. Release and let go. Grant yourself the right to be who you are and who you are not in this light of perfection, knowing it will stay with you for the rest of your life. And repeat what you wish your white light to be. If you wish your light to be mental, physical, and spiritual perfection, divine right action, No harm can enter in. Abundance, peace, and prosperity. Take just a moment now to repeat several times what you feel you want your white light to be. It will become established as that. Take a deep breath. Exhale slowly. And mentally repeat several times that affirmation of white light. Now take a deep breath, exhale very slowly, and become totally aware of the inner peace you feel in every cell within your body. And if you wish a healing now, take the healing. Just know it's there. And now with this total feeling of peace within oneself, this white light, think of someone you dearly love. Send this light out to them. Surround them in imagination with the light of whatever you want to offer. Release them. Grant them the right to be who they are and who they are not. Just love them because you love them. Then send the peace, prosperity, and abundance, mental and physical, spiritual perfection, all is well. Peace I am. Love I am. Health I am. And now take a different person and send the light out to them. And if you wish to add the health, just imagine the white light ball that surrounds you, one just like it, moving slowly up through the feet, cleansing the body, up through the knees and the legs, as it passes through, leaving everything in absolute perfection, on up through the chest and the neck, moving slowly out through, until the entire human soul is cleansed. This I do offer you. Feel free to take as much as you wish. I release and set you free. I love you because you are you. And now take a moment to wrap the world in a foot of white light, seeing peace and prosperity and good, divine right action for the entire world. And then for the next few moments, feel that white light around you, the goodness, the inner peace, the soul expressing. And send that light to anyone that comes to your mind. Take a deep breath. Exhale very slowly. And remember, every thought you have is a prayer. Every thought you have is carried on white light. And you are keeping the originals. So if you wish a healing, Heal those other people. If you wish more alertness, send the alertness to the needy. Relax, go within. Feel that light filling every pocket in your home and in the room you're within, reaching out to all your loved ones. And now for the next few minutes, just relax totally in the glow of that light and send it to all that you desire. Take a deep breath. Exhale very slowly now. And mentally repeat, if you wish, an affirmation which makes the white light very powerful. I release all people, places, and things to my divine right plan. And all people, places, and things release me to that divine right plan. I attract all people, places, and things which are part of my divine right plan. And all people, places, and things that are part of that divine plan are attracted to me. I release, I let go. I set myself free. And now think of that person that you love the very most. Send the white light out to them at this moment. And mentally repeat once more, I release all people, places, and things to that divine pattern of life. All people, places, and things release me to my divine pattern. I attract all those people, places, and things to that perfect divine pattern of my life. And all people, places, and things are attracted to my divine pattern. As you think of that one you love, release and set them free. Because as they're released, we no longer judge. We simply love because we love. And with total release comes total divine love and possession from the other way in. And any time we release anything in our life and set it free and it doesn't come back, we didn't possess it in the first place. But if we release it and set it free just to be and it comes back, then it possesses us with divine spirit and love. Repeat mentally once more. Peace I am. Peace I am. Love I am. Love I am. Health I am. Health I am. Happy I am. Happy I am. Of God I am. Of God I am. And know that every time you use the white light in this exercise, it will expand the inner conscious level of mind, giving us many benefits mentally and physically. Anytime I use the white light to release and let me go, to set myself free, I then have the freedom to help myself or anyone who needs help mentally and physically. Every time I function in this realm of white light, my inner level of mind, my vision, my hearing, and my health become perfect. I release, I let go. And for this we say, thank you, Father. And now mentally repeat, of God I am. Of God I am. Of God I am. And listen to the echoes in the mind, repeating it even after you mentally quit repeating it. We still hear in the echoes of God I am, of peace I am, of health I am. And now as I think of all the world, I wrap it in a foot, 100 foot, 1,000 feet of a never-ending white light of peace, prosperity, and abundance, mental, physical, spiritual perfection, divine right action for each in their own place. I release, I let go, I no longer judge. I grant myself that right to be who I am, and I grant myself the right to be who I am not, because there's many things in this world I am not or do not have time to do. But I grant myself that right to be, and I look at you and grant you that same right to be. And I feel that white light in every cell in my body. And once more I send it out to all who wish to share in my peace, in my prosperity and abundance, in my mental, physical, and spiritual perfection. And for this we say, thank you, Father. Thank you. And now slowly stretch up, putting your hands over your head, and slowly open your eyes, becoming wide awake, feeling fine and in perfect health. And take a moment now at the conscious level of mind to become totally aware of that oneness of inner peace, that goodness that you feel. And repeat the white light exercise many times a week, because surely as you give, so shall you receive. And in white light we say, God bless you, and thank you, Father.